This is not just flesh and bone. This is an ancient gateway to the body's silent alchemy. They will tell you it's just cartilage, a piece of skin, a strange hollow behind the earlobe that serves no purpose. But Thoth knew better. He did not write this in the public scrolls, not in the emerald tablets. This was passed only by voice, whispered from priest to initiate, from healer to seeker. The secret point behind the ear, a gateway sealed not by bone, but by belief. Right now, place your fingers gently behind your ear, where the jawbone curves into the soft tissue. That hollow space? That's the ancient chamber. The Egyptians called it Ankh-Amun, the breath of hidden life. Why there? Because this is where the three rivers of the nervous system intersect. The vagus nerve, which governs healing, the auricular branch, which senses divine resonance, and the lymphatic line, which carries memory. Ancient Chinese medicine called it Shen Men, the gate of the spirit. Tibetan monks called it Trekcho Point, where you cut through illusion. It is not just biological, it is vibrational. Touching this point in the right frequency, while breathing in rhythm, while holding a specific intention, was said to unlock the inner physician. The body would remember its blueprint. Bones realigned. Energy flowed. Pain disappeared. But be warned, this is not for the casual dabbler. The body only responds when the soul is sincere. Let me tell you what happened when I first tried it. I sat beneath a cold stone altar, deep inside the temple of Komombo. Silence echoed like a second heartbeat. My teacher, a blind man with a golden voice, said only this: breathe 7 times. Place your finger behind your left ear and say the name of the gate. I did, and in that moment, it felt like a veil shattered, like warm silver had been poured into my spine. I wept not from sadness, but because the body finally remembered something ancient. And now, you will try it too, but only if you are ready. Only if something inside you knows this was meant for you. We begin. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Place your finger gently on the hollow behind your left ear. Inhale deeply. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly. Repeat this 7 times. Now, on the 7th exhale, whisper the word Ankh-Amun. Let it vibrate in your throat. Let it echo into your bones. Hold the silence. Feel. Don't think. You may feel warmth, tingling, an emotional wave, or nothing. If nothing happens, you are too much in the mind. Try again, not with effort, but with reverence. This is the moment the body remembers. It was never broken, only waiting. You have touched the gateway. You whispered the forgotten name. And now, something ancient stirs within you, not in your thoughts, not in your beliefs, but in your cells. The Egyptians believed that the body held a shadow healer, an invisible twin made of pure light, encoded with your perfect health. It doesn't age, it doesn't break. It only waits silent for you to call it forth. They called it Sa Sekem Sahu, the radiant body within the shadow. In India, it's known as the Chikitsa Deva, the divine inner healer. In Taoist medicine, it's simply the original Qi, M. The mystics knew something modern science is only now rediscovering. The body repairs itself, but only when the noise is gone. When you touched the secret point behind your ear and sang Ankh-Amun, you sent a vibration deep into the nervous system. And that vibration did not just wake nerves, it rang like a bell through your cellular memory. Have you noticed the quiet shift? Maybe your breath feels deeper, your spine straighter, your skin warmer. Maybe old pain feels confused, displaced. These are not illusions. They are the signs that your inner physician is waking. But now comes the most important moment. You must do nothing. Yes, nothing. No affirmations, no visualizations, no expectations. Because the ancient alchemists knew the healing only completes itself when the mind steps aside. The flame does not rise because you fan it, said Thoth. It rises because you stop blowing at the ashes. Let the flame rise now. Sit in stillness. Do not speak. Do not seek. Let the body reorganize itself as it was always meant to. You are not healing. You are being healed from the inside out. And what if you feel resistance? What if your thoughts interrupt? What if doubt creeps in and says, nothing is happening? Here is the trap. The more you demand a sign, the more you collapse the field. This healing is not a performance. It is not entertainment. It is sacred resonance. Let the inner physician do what no medicine can. One of my students once told me, after I whispered Ankh Amun, I fell asleep for 10 hours straight. When I woke up, the migraine I'd had for 4 years was gone. It never returned. I didn't even realize until the next evening because I had stopped searching. That is how this works. Quiet, subtle, final. Now, you will begin to feel sensations that have no name. A memory of lightness, a current of silence, a tingling beneath the skin that feels like truth. When you do, comment, "The inner physician has awakened." This is your vow and your offering to the collective, because each person who awakens this force contributes to the healing of all. But beware, if you try to force it, rush it, prove it, you will block it. This is the paradox. To activate the greatest healing, you must disappear. So disappear, and let what is ancient arise. This is the song you are never meant to repeat. Not because it is dangerous, but because its power lies in the silence it leaves behind. There are songs that soothe, songs that stir, but this song heals. Not because it is loud, not because it is beautiful, but because it vibrates at the exact frequency of cellular memory and must be sung only once. Thoth called it Za, Ra, the breath between breath, the sound between sounds. And if you've never heard it before, that's not because it was lost. It's because it only comes when the body is ready to remember. The high priests of Heliopolis used it to awaken the dead not physically, but energetically. The soul that had collapsed inward from trauma, fear, disease, would feel this sound and re-expand into life. You may wonder, what does it sound like? It's not what you think. It is not a note you sing from the throat. It is a resonance you release from your bones. And when done correctly, you don't feel like you're singing it. You feel like your body has become the tuning fork, and the sound emerges through you. Here is how you activate it. Step 1. Place your finger once again on the hollow behind your ear. Close your eyes. Take 3 long, slow breaths. Step 2. As you inhale, feel the air rise from your root to the crown. On the exhale, allow a low humming sound, not loud, like a whisper of thunder, to form on your lips. It should feel like your body is melting into the sound. Now, after the 3rd exhale, say this word slowly with no force. Za, Ra. Let it trail off. Let the silence afterwards ring louder than the word itself. Then speak nothing, move nothing, breathe naturally, because what happens in that silence is what ancient mystics feared and revered, the descent of the healing current. Modern science might call it vagal tone activation, parasympathetic response, or limbic restoration, but the ancients had a simpler word: remembrance. The sound reminds the body of its original blueprint. Scars become echoes, pain becomes a story with no audience, and you return. But why must it be whispered only once? Because repeating it chases it away. Just like an echo vanishes when pursued, Zara only works in surrender. The first time you sing it, it opens the healing gate. The second time, it starts to become memory. The third time, it becomes performance. So don't repeat it. Don't record it. Don't share it out loud. This is your key. Yours alone. Type in the comments if you've sung it and only if you have. I have released Zara into my silence. This is not just confirmation. This is anchoring. Because when 2 or more acknowledge the vibration, the field stabilizes. You may feel tired now, or light, or deeply still. That's the sign it worked. You've whispered the word. You've felt the current. But now comes the trap, ancient, clever, and always disguised as truth. The mirror. Not the one in your bathroom, not glass and silver, but the mirror of your self-image, the one etched by trauma, carved by culture, polished by memory. This mirror reflects not who you are, but who you've been told you are. And here is the danger. If you keep seeing the same broken self every time you seek healing, you will reattach to the wound and block the current before it can complete its work. Thoth called this the second lock, because after the point behind your ear is touched, After the song Zara is sung, the second lock will try to re-engage. It whispers, "You're not healed yet. You're still the sick one. Nothing really changed." And if you believe it even for a moment, the inner physician retreats. The gate begins to close. Why? Because the body listens to the image you hold most strongly. Ancient Tibetans called this trap Tul Kor, the illusion of returning form. Indian yogis warned of avidya, the false knowing that arises after inner awakening. And in Egypt, they simply said, "Beware the mirror. It is the final guardian before transformation." I remember the first time I faced this trap. After activating Ankamun and singing Zara, I felt lighter than air. But the next morning, I looked in the mirror and saw the same tired eyes. My old story tried to pull me back. "You just imagined it. You still look sick. You're not there yet." But then I remembered the teaching. Do not look at the mirror. Look from the energy. And I did. I sat. I closed my eyes. I placed my hand again behind my ear, not to repeat the ritual, but to remember the vibration. I didn't chant. I didn't seek. I just rested in the space behind thought. And slowly, the story dissolved. My body began to move in new ways. My thoughts stopped circling. And the mirror? It no longer mattered. That's the escape. The mirror loses power when you no longer believe it reflects your truth. So now I ask you, what image are you still clinging to? The wounded one? The one who's always been like this? The one who's trying to heal? If so, it's time to shatter the mirror. Do this now. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Now visualize the mirror of your old self cracked and trembling. Behind it, a bright field is waiting, not a face, but a presence. Now breathe again. On the exhale, release the identity you've worn for too long. Say this in your mind or aloud if you feel ready. I no longer reflect the wound. I am the vibration beyond the mirror. If you truly do this, the energy will surge. It may feel like sadness, or peace, or nothing at all, but the trap has been escaped. This is not ordinary breath. This is the spiral, the living serpent hidden within your inhale, known only to those who no longer breathe just to survive. The ancient pharaohs had a secret breathing ritual. It was never carved on temple walls. It was never shared in public ceremony. It was done alone in darkness beneath stone ceilings where sound could not echo. This breath was called Sa-Ankh-Tet, the spiral that gives life and reorders flesh. You won't find it in any textbook, but it's encoded in every sarcophagus, the way the serpent wraps the sun. It's the reason ancient depictions of Thoth show the curved beak, not just for aesthetics, but to hint at the twisting motion of sacred breath. Now, science has started to catch up. We know now the vagus nerve runs like a braid through the throat, heart, and gut, the very pathways of energy described in the Hermetic scrolls. And what activates the vagus like nothing else? Spiral breathing. Not linear, not forceful, but circular, rising and folding back into itself. Let me guide you. Begin seated, spine tall, chin slightly tucked. Place your hand lightly behind the ear just as before to maintain energetic contact. Now follow this pattern. 1. Inhale gently through the nose for 5 seconds, imagining the breath spiraling up your spine. 2. Hold at the crown for 3 seconds. See the spiral looping into itself. 3. Exhale slowly through pursed lips for 7 seconds, letting the breath spiral down the front of the body. 4. Pause for 2 seconds at the root. That's 1 full spiral. Do this 3 times only. You may feel your fingers begin to tingle, your ears ring, your body sway slightly. These are signs the current is awakening. It doesn't move like a line. It doesn't push like wind. It twirls, quietly like incense smoke rising through still air. The ancient Egyptians knew this spiral was the shape of renewal. Ra does not rise straight. He spirals through the heavens, the scribes wrote. Because healing is not a path, it is a vortex, and once you enter it, the old laws no longer apply. Some of you may experience dizziness. Don't worry. It means your body is adjusting to the loss of linear thinking. Some may feel heat, others sudden emotion. These are the toxins leaving your energetic matrix. Do not speak. Do not reach for your phone. Just breathe. And when it's done, sit in stillness. Let the spiral spin without your effort, because this is not your doing, this is your undoing. Type in the comments, if you've entered the breath spiral, the spiral breath has awakened the current. This comment links your spiral to the collective field. Every soul that breathes in this way adds power to the hidden stream. And know this, once this spiral is felt, you will never breathe the same again, because every breath after this remembers, this is not just a point, it is a threshold, and behind it waits a guardian. Not a being, not a voice, but a frequency, a presence that protects the gate until you are truly ready. The ancients never warned lightly. They said, the gate behind the ear is watched by silence itself. Only those who have wept without asking why may pass. In Egypt, this point was guarded by Akenu, the unseen force that lives at the edge of sound. In India, it was described as the Ashraya Deva, the deity of shelter, who offers no protection until you drop your armor. In Tibetan Bon tradition, they speak of the Chode whisper, a presence that will not let you pass unless your ego kneels. What does this mean for you? It means that if you had tried this practice too early in your life, it would have done nothing. The sound would fall flat. The spiral breath would make you dizzy and confused. The anchor moon point would feel like flesh, because the guardian only steps aside when something within you breaks open, when a hidden grief is no longer hidden, when a readiness that cannot be faked finally flowers. I'll tell you the truth. I tried to activate this point years before I was ready. I forced the breath. I chanted the word. I mimicked the rituals. And nothing happened. No energy. No heat. No shift. I thought I had failed. But it wasn't failure, it was protection. Because this power is not for those who want results. It is for those who are willing to disappear into something greater. The guardian does not check your knowledge. It checks your frequency. And your frequency cannot lie. So if you're here now, if the point behind your ear tingled, if your breath spiraled like a dance of light, then it means something sacred. The guardian has stepped aside. You were not ready before, but you are now. Because you're not asking to be healed. You're asking to remember what it feels like to be whole. And that is exactly what this gateway gives. But heed this warning. If, after this initiation, you try to use this point as a trick, or show, or shortcut, the guardian returns. The gate seals. The silence deepens. That is not a punishment. It is sacred timing. You may wonder, can I open it again later? Yes, but not by force. It will open again when your next readiness arrives. So now, sit, breathe. Do not seek the gate, let it seek you. If you feel the presence subtle, cool, almost like watching without eyes, that is the guardian acknowledging you. You may sense a pressure behind your ear, or a sudden stillness in your breath, or even an inner voice saying, now. It begins as a hum, soft, nearly imperceptible, like the sound of nothing, becoming something, and then it grows, a tone behind the tone, a pressure behind the silence, a ringing that isn't heard with the ear but with the soul. This is not tinnitus. This is the silent ring. Ancient mystics knew it well. They called it the voice of the gate. It is the first sound the soul hears when the inner world begins to open. Thoth wrote in the Forbidden Scrolls, when the key is turned, the ears shall burn with the first note of remembrance. In India, it is Nada Bindu, the primordial sound that arises in deep meditation, said to come from beyond the physical universe. Tibetan monks called it Dronma, the guiding tone. The Celts described it as the Faulan, the wolf tone that led the soul through the woods of the unseen. And modern science, they call it spontaneous otoacoustic emissions, M. But what they don't understand is this. It does not originate in the ear. It originates in the field. This ringing is a sign that your vibrational field has been pierced. The body is now tuning itself. Your energetic DNA is realigning. The old structures are being dissolved. You may hear it only in the left ear, the feminine side, the receiving channel, or only in the right, the masculine, the transmitting channel, or both, which means the balance is beginning. But beware of this trap. The mind will try to analyze it. Why is it high-pitched? Why does it come and go? Is it safe? That is the final resistance. Because if you think about the tone, you step out of the tone. Instead, Listen from behind the ears, not with your hearing, but with your presence. Sit now. Be still. Place your awareness not on the sound, but on the silence beneath the sound. That is where the true power lives. And if the ring gets louder, don't panic. That means the vibration is expanding. Some report sudden insights, visions, tears, or even memories that don't feel like their own because they aren't. They are ancestral echoes, released as your DNA unwinds its karmic knots. That ringing? It is the key, spinning inside the lock. Let it spin, let it guide. Do not seek to stop it. Seek to understand what it's trying to say. And when the ring fades, that's when the integration begins. You'll feel more grounded, more alert, but somehow not the same, because you aren't. Now, if you have heard this silent ring not with your ears, but in your bones, write this in the comments. The ring has found me. The code is active. These words echo through the collective field. They stabilize the sound for others who are still listening, and they remind the guardian that you have heard the first signal and are ready for the next phase. You may think memory lives in the brain, but that is only the surface. True memory, the deep vibrational memory of your being, lives in the bone. Not the marrow, not the tissue, but in the crystalline lattice of the bone itself, a structure so ancient, so precise, it is said to be the original record keeper of your soul's journey. Thoth taught this in whispers. Touch the bone, and you will wake the scroll that was sealed before your birth. This is why the point behind the ear, the mastoid process, is not random. It is bone. It is the vault. In Egypt, initiates were taught to lay hands not on the heart, not on the forehead, but on the skull base when calling back lost energy. Because that is where the sound of the soul reverberates. Have you ever instinctively touched your temples when overwhelmed? Held the back of your neck when in fear? Pressed your fingers behind your ears when listening deeply? You were trying to access the library beneath your thoughts. The bones remember. Science, once again, is catching up. We now know bones are piezoelectric. They generate electrical charges in response to pressure, which means when you press gently behind your ear while focusing your intention, you're not imagining the effect. You are literally sending signals into your cellular network. But here's the forgotten truth. It's not just your memories in the bone. It's your ancestors too. This is where generational trauma hides. This is where ancient codes sleep waiting for one brave soul in the bloodline to awaken. When you activate this point, when you breathe and sing and touch with reverence, you don't just heal yourself. You rewrite the vibrational script that your lineage has repeated for centuries. One woman, after doing this ritual, wrote to me, "I didn't just feel energy. I saw visions of a woman kneeling in the sand, crying over a child. I don't know her name, but I know she lived inside me, and now she's free." The body had remembered. The bone had released. The soul had turned the page. So now I ask you, place your fingertips once more behind your ear. Close your eyes. Breathe in silence. Don't ask for healing. Ask the bone, "What have you been holding for me?" Then listen. You may feel emotion rise, a memory, or simply a trembling presence. Whatever it is, do not push it away. That is your inheritance, dissolving. And when the moment feels complete, place your palm on your heart and say, "I honor what was. I activate what is." And there is a moment, quiet, unmistakable, when something clicks. Not a sound, not a thought, but a shift in the very atmosphere around your being. This is the moment the ancients feared and craved. The point of no return. The sealing of the field. Thoth called it Shem, Ra, the sacred enclosure. In Tibet, it was known as Rigpatsar, the field of unbreakable clarity. In Indian yogic tradition, it is the Kshetra Sthala, the sanctified body space. What does it mean? It means the transformation has completed its arc. The gate has not only opened, it has closed behind you. You are no longer returning to who you were, because that version no longer exists. The old doubts cannot access you now. The old stories can knock, but they'll find no door, because your energetic architecture has changed. Let me explain how it feels, so you'll know it's real. You'll wake up, and the world feels slightly quieter. Not dead refined. The people who triggered you, they'll sound hollow. The thoughts that looped in your mind, slower or gone. And the breath, it moves through you as if the air itself recognizes you. But with this sealing comes responsibility. You've been given a field. It is pure, it is strong. But if you let old habits, toxic environments, or fearful words back in too soon, you will poke holes in it before it stabilizes. So listen carefully. For the next 72 hours, you must protect the field. Do not gossip. Do not argue. Do not consume media that poisons your resonance. No horror, no news, no sarcasm disguised as humor. This is not superstition. This is vibrational law. When the field seals, it becomes like wet cement. If you walk too soon, the imprint will be wrong. But if you wait, if you breathe, if you stay still in reverence, it will harden into light. One man, an initiate from Guatemala, once told me after his sealing, I didn't want to talk for 3 days, not because I was sad, but because I finally felt whole, and I didn't want to spill. He knew the truth. This moment is not meant to be shared with everyone. Not yet. Only with those who recognize the field by how they feel in your presence. They will say things like, "You feel different. You look peaceful. What happened to you?" And you will smile. Not because they noticed, but because you didn't need them to. If you feel this even faintly, write this in the comments. The field has sealed. I have crossed. This is not just a confirmation. This is the first echo of your new vibration, bouncing back to you from the collective. And now, we approach the final revelation. What lies beyond the sealing is not more knowledge. There is no temple in Egypt more sacred than the one you carry within your own vibration. No scroll holier than your breath. No altar more powerful than the point behind your ear, now awakened. What began as a whisper, a sound, a breath, a simple touch has become a doorway, and you walked through it. You may not realize it yet, but you have already left the old world. The version of you that once begged for healing is gone, because healing was never outside you. It was never a practice. It was a recognition. Thoth didn't want to be worshipped. He wanted to be remembered. And today, through your hands, your breath, your silence, he has been. The sacred geometry of your field has changed. The current is awake. The guardian has stepped aside. The song has been sung. The ring has spoken. The mirror is shattered. The spiral is rising. The bone has released. The field has sealed. You are now the temple. Let that truth land in your heart. Say it softly, not with ego, but with awe. I am the temple. I hold the power of remembrance. Sit with it. Don't explain it. Don't rush to use it. Just become it. And when the time is right, you will meet others who have walked this path. Not through words, but through resonance. You will feel them in a room. You will see it in their stillness. You will recognize them, and they will recognize you. This is the new priesthood, not of religion, but of frequency. And now, if this journey has moved something within you, if you felt the gate, the current, the memory, the tone, if even one sentence in this sacred passage made you pause and breathe, then type this in the comments. The temple is alive in me. The journey has begun, not to announce yourself, but to anchor this vibration so it doesn't fade back into shadow. And if you feel called to keep this energy alive, like this video not for the algorithm, but as a gesture of resonance. Subscribe not to consume, but to join a circle of others walking this path. Share this only with those whose frequency is ready not to convince, but to invite. Each act like, comment, subscribe is not just digital. It is vibrational. It is a signal to the unseen. I am here. I remember. I resonate. You have been entrusted with this code. You are now part of the hidden lineage that is no longer hiding. The temple is open. The healing has begun. And you will never be the same.